Hey everybody, Mr. Simone here. The purpose of this video is to show you how to graph linear functions that are in the form of your standard form. Okay. There are a few different options that you can use when graphing in standard form. The main purpose for standard form, the reason why we do use it, is that it allows you to see the x-intercept and y-intercept very quickly. All right, but I'm going to go through a couple different options and you can kind of choose what you feel is the best, okay? So option one is that anytime that you're given a linear equation, okay, you can convert it into slope-intercept form. Now we know that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, all right? So if we take a look at option one in this case, okay, option one says to take our equation, which is this 3x minus 4y equals 12, and we're going to convert it into y equals mx plus b. Step one is to subtract the x term from both sides. You're going to end up with negative 4y is equal to. Now on this side you're going to notice that 12 and that minus 3x are not like terms. And normally we would put 12 minus 3x, but because we're trying to convert it into this y equals mx plus b form, we're going to put that negative 3x term in front and then add by 12. From this step, we're going to actually divide by negative 4 on both sides of our equation. Again, whatever you do to one side, do to the other. When you divide by negative 4, you're going to end up with that y equals, and you'll notice that for my slope, I've got this negative 3 divided by negative 4. A negative divided by a negative is positive, so we end up with 3/4 x. And at the same time on this side, you end up with 12, all right, divided by negative 4, which is negative 3. So why is this important? Well, if we have an equation in standard form, we can write it in slope-intercept form, which allows us to not only identify the slope, which is going to be 3/4, but it also allows us to figure out what that y-intercept is, which is negative 3. Now, from earlier videos, if you know your slope and you know your y-intercept, you can graph any point. Slope, that change in y, and your 4, which is change in x, this will tell you to go up and to the right from your starting position of negative 3. So you can plot negative 3, and then you're going to move up 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, and over 4. And vice versa, you can also go down 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, and to the left 4. It still will give you this positive slope, and we can see where it kind of crisscrosses. So that's one option. All right, that is one option. Option two says that because we know that standard form allows you to identify the x and y intercepts quickly, we can make a table. And for our table, our xy, we want to find out what the y-intercept is, or when x is 0, as well as the x-intercept, or when y is 0. So if we were to plug 0 into our standard form, 3 times 0, that cancels out. And now you're left with negative 4 equals 12. Well, how do I make this a true statement? I would divide by negative 4 on both sides and find out that my y-intercept, or when x is 0, would give me an answer of negative 3, which is this point. The same thing is if I decide to plug in 0 in for my y, so this minus 4 or negative 4 times 0, this cancels out. Now I have to make this statement true. Well, when 3x equals 12, what does x have to be? X has to be 4. So the point 4, 0, which is our x-intercept. And ideally, when you have an equation and you're trying to draw a line, you only need 2 points. It is helpful when one of the points is your y-intercept, and you can move on from there. So option 1, convert from standard to slope-intercept. Option 2, you actually have your x-intercept and your y-intercept. Okay. The other thing that you can do is from here, if you wanted to find the slope, we remember that slope from tables, you can find the difference. So your change in y would be plus 3, your change in x is plus 4, and again, it just reinforces that our slope, all right, is that 3/4, which is what we ended up over here. The third option, which is a sneak peek, is when you have an equation in standard form, it follows this format. It's follows this ax plus by equals c, where a must be a positive integer term. Option 3 says that if we know a, b, and c, you can find the slope, or m. I'll put it over here. For m, our slope based on this is going to be always negative a over b. Okay, our a term is 3, so we can make that negative 3. Our b term is that minus 4 or negative 4, and this will simplify to 3/4. Our b term, if you want to find the y-intercept using the standard notation, your y-intercept is always going to be the c term divided by b. So our c term, which is positive 12, divided by our b term of negative 4 will end up giving us that negative 3, which is also what we have. So again, you have lots of options here. You can kind of choose what you would like. Normally, I have you do option 1, convert from standard to slope-intercept, because we're comfortable with using that. And then option 2 really is the premise of standard form is that it allows you to see your x and y-intercepts pretty quickly. So there's a couple options. I'll do both of them out for you. You can stop the video whenever you'd like as you work through the problems. And we'll use some different options for you. All right, so here are the 2 examples. For this example, I'm going to use option 2, and then for this example, I'll use option 1 just to kind of review some of the concepts. So we have our ax plus by equals c format, which we know is in standard form. The a term is positive, so we're in a really good place. If it wasn't positive, you'd have to multiply both sides of the equation by -1 to help us balance it. So option 2 says to make a table, find out your y-intercept, find out your x-intercept, and use the format. If I plug in 0 in for x, 2 times 0 is 0. Now I have to solve for my y. Well, 3 times what gives us negative 12? It is going to be negative 4. So 0, negative 4 is my y-intercept. My x-intercept, we're going to say when y is 0, 3 times 0 is 0. So 2 times what number gives us negative 12? 2 times negative 6. There's my x-intercept. Connect my 2 points and draw arrows on the end. All right, so that's option 2. For this example, we'll try option 1. All right, I've got my equation, x plus 2y equals negative 6. I'm going to subtract by x. Again, that coefficient's 1. I end up with 2y is equal to, I'm going to write negative x in front because I want it to look like that y equals mx plus b format, subtracted by 6. Divide by 2, divide by 2. I end up with y equals, you'll notice I have a negative x over 2, which is the same thing as that negative 1 over 2, or negative 1/2 x. And over here, I'm going to divide negative 6 by 2, which is negative 3. I have a slope of negative 1 over 2, and I have a y-intercept of negative 3. I know my y-intercept is negative 3. I'm going to use my pattern of negative 1 over 2 to graph my other points. The top number tells us what the vertical change is, which in this case is going to be down 1. My bottom number tells us the horizontal change, which is 2. So I'm going to go down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2, and you can continue the pattern. Just like a negative 1/2, we can write this way. We can also write negative 1/2 this way, which says to go up 1 and to the left 2. So up 1 to the left 2, up 1 to the left 2, and vice versa. So you have a few options when graphing with standard form. Again, ideally standard form lends itself to find the y and x intercepts. You can always convert it though, but I wanted to show you a few of those options as you work through. There's also that third option that's kind of like a cheat that you can use as well to help you. So hope these video helps. Keep working on it. Ask me questions if you need more help.